Hello, today we'll be discussing World War II and how it led to advancements in many different STEM fields. Starting off with computer science, the work done by scientists like Alan Turing and his team at Bletchley Park during World War II on code breaking helped lay the foundation and the groundwork for most of modern computing as we know it today.
During World War II, civil engineering was greatly advanced due to the need for supply lines and to create offensive battlegrounds. And afterwards, the technology was put to use in restoring and refining modern technology after World War II.
During the war, there were mass casualties, and there were issues identifying all of the soldiers' bodies. This led to research in forensic science to help identify these bodies and led to the development of DNA fingerprinting.
During World War II, there was many improvements in the aerospace engineering field, specifically aircrafts, because as the war went on, there was more and more air wars, and that's why there was a lot of improvements in plane speed, being able to carry bombs and things like that.
Civil engineers work on infrastructure, which is a very broad field. Civil engineers have to have a bachelor's degree in civil engineering, as well as a professional engineer license, which is attained by passing two tests, your engineering fundamentals test and your professional engineer test. In addition to this, they have 4 years of work under a licensed engineer. And so they were able to work on a variety of things within World War II, including the invasion of Normandy, which was one of the largest and most decisive offenses in World War II. The civil engineers worked on coastal infrastructure, including floating harbor parts, as well as concrete caissons and breakwaters, which were all to improve coastal stability and make sure that ships had the infrastructure they needed to effectively storm the beach. In addition, they helped to control railways and build them throughout the Middle East, which had little way of supplying troops there. And they modeled German autobahns and applied them to supply lines in both the US and Canada, which made it much easier for ammunitions and wartime materials to be moved across the country at a massive rate. So in the efforts after World War II to rebuild and reconstruct and improve in the end, these improvements during the war came in very handy. We were able to make storm-resistant infrastructure that we could pop out in months, whereas previously we didn't have that technology and it would have taken a lot longer. Intensive research was done because of all of the bombings and air raids, and that made it so that we could find critical failures where buildings could be improved and make them better for the future while rebuilding these battlefronts. Roads as well, the autobahns, they became a lot more commonplace in many countries afterwards, not just for supply lines, but for communication and travel in general, which connected countries at a never before seen scale.
During the Second World War, over 400,000 American service members passed away. Immediately after the war, over 280,000 people were able to be identified just using dog tags and personal belongings that were found on them. But there was a huge issue identifying like thousands of other people. And this problem encouraged more research to be done on identifying individuals in general, and specifically by using their DNA. Research on DNA quickly developed over the 20th century, and by the 1980s, DNA fingerprinting was invented. Now, forensic pathologists are using exhumed bones and teeth from soldiers to identify them. Forensic pathologists are physicians specializing in pathology and who then subspecialize in the borderline area between law and medicine that emphasizes the determination of the cause of death. To become a forensic pathologist, you have to do a lot of things. First, you have to be a licensed medical doctor going through medical school, then have postgraduate training in pathology and have a postgraduate fellowship program in forensic pathology, and you have to be certified by the American Board of Pathology.
In World War II, there was many aerospace advancements because World War II was a major air battle between the countries, and this resulted in planes being able to drop bombs like they did in Pearl Harbor. The prime example of one of these planes is the Boeing B-29 Superfortress. At the time, it went faster. It could go farther and higher than any other plane that existed, and it was also one of the planes to drop an atomic bomb over Japan. The requirements to become a flight engineer is to have a 4-year degree in one of the related aerospace, mechanical, engineering fields, and in order to work on this specifically, you'd also have to get military clearance. For aircraft infrastructure improvements, because it was an air battle and many aircrafts were improving, the technology following also had to improve. It had to improve because they had to start keeping track of the newer, faster airplanes that were being created, and as technology was improving, the plane sizes were getting bigger, there had to be places to accommodate them, which is why they used some of the World War II plane holder sites to convert that into that. In order to become an aircraft controller specifically, people generally go through aerospace engineering or one of the related ones, and they also have to go through ATCTI, which is Air Traffic Collegiate Training Initiative. You have to be a United States citizen, you have to be hired by 31 years old, except for experienced controllers, which you would be hired by 35. You have to pass a medical examination, you have to pass a security investigation to ensure that everybody is safe, and you have to also speak English clearly enough for others to understand you.
As stated previously, a lot of the work done in World War II on the field of computer science was done by people like Alan Turing and his team at Bletchley Park. Pictured here is the Bomba machine, which was specifically used to decrypt the Nazi Enigma cipher, which was their very complex set of ciphers which they would use to encode their messages. Through the development of this machine, we were able to decrypt the messages that the Nazis were sending to each other, which was crucial in helping to end the war. Alan Turing specifically is known as the father of computing due to many of his contributions to the field, such as his contributions to algorithmic thinking, which is the main form of thinking used today for basically all of programming and all computing. A job in the field in modern day is software development, and qualifications and certifications may vary. However, you can get certified in different programming languages or have a bachelor's, master's, or even doctorate in computer science as a degree as well. As you can see, many different fields evolved as a result of World War II and the contributions of people from it, and its effects can be felt to this day in fields like aerospace and civil engineering, like forensics, and like in computer science.